Hey guys, Watson here. Begging is a controversial topic. To stop driving in order to get better items has been a thing in almost every Mario Kart so far, and Mario Kart World is no different. In this video I'm gonna talk about how good begging actually is and how it works a bit differently in this game. Keep in mind, this video focuses on classic 3-lap track races, since begging is borderline overpowered and very straightforward in intermission routes and knockout tour. In the end, I also give an overview about how strong begging is on each course, as well as some tips and tricks about proper begging in this game. And let's dive right into it. Alright, let's discuss first how good begging generally is in this game. Begging is definitely still in the game and is still a viable and strong tool, but it's very different to other games before in this series. You always have to put begging into relation to how strong running in first place is in the game. And actually in this game, running in first is actually very strong, but begging is also still strong and viable. This is a very unique combo for a Mario Kart game. Generally speaking, you either want to go for either one of them. Either you beg or you run in first place. If you do something undecisively in the middle of it, you're probably in the worst spot you could be. But why is begging and being in first so strong? Talking about being in first. There's multiple reasons why running in front in this game is so strong. For one, you pull way less red shells in second place, which could screw you over in previous games a lot in first place. Secondly, shocks, the lightning. It doesn't take away as much time anymore if you get hit in first place. You kind of lose the same amount of time as someone who gets shocked in 14th place, right, in first place. Also, the mid-pack, when people are close together, is just way more dangerous in this game. Items get pulled automatically, people are just being screwed over so much. Also, more players means just more chaos and hectic plays in the mid-pack when people are together, and people are just gonna get hit more often. If you're on first, if you're just running and if you're away from that, you're not getting hit as much and you can just build a better lead. Also, there's a higher probability in this game to pull shrooms in very high spots, so you can see a lot of people run up shrooms into first place, and being in first place with a shroom is such a strong position. You can still take shortcuts and potentially dodge this one blue shell that could potentially ruin your race. And also there's a lot of skill expression and crazy tech and shortcuts in this game. And the first place just has the easiest time to pull them off undisturbed. In the pack, in the middle, if you have a lot of people around you, you just get bumped and you can't pull off as many shortcuts and grind on rails and such, because you're just gonna get bumped around and get picked off and you don't have enough speed to pull off certain techniques that really gets you ahead. And first place can pull them off just like that. But why is begging so strong then too? That's just because the item distribution has changed so much. You just pull better items across the board. It's not uncommon to pull a golden plus triple shrooms in 10th place out of 24 players. And the item distribution is more based on positions again, and not so much on distance anymore. Distance is still a factor, but positions very important. You can fall behind very quickly, just brake for 2 seconds, lose like 6 positions, get a way better item that can really get you ahead again. In a game like Mario Kart 8 you had to brake way more to just increase the distance to first place to really get better items, but here it's just a matter of meters if you are just getting way better items. And that allows you to do some micro bagging, especially at the start. At the start you can pull triple shrooms and stars in the very first item set, which are insane pulls. You can even pull that in 4th to 5th place. And if you break a bit, it's almost guaranteed that you get triple shrooms right at the start. Before in Mario Kart 8, a single shroom was the best you could pull right at the start. So already here, just begging a little bit is very viable. But another reason why begging is very good in this game is because begging greatly increases your chance to get invincibility items. I mean, that was the case before in other games of the series, but dodges are very rare actually, way rarer than in previous Mario Kart titles. And they can really get you ahead. Invincibility items are still crazy good, shock dodges are very powerful, but also the invincibility helps you navigate through that dangerous mid-pack, where items are just being thrown from every place at you, and everyone knows how easily you get comboed in this game. You can completely avoid that if you pull those dodges. Another important thing that makes begging stronger in this game, it's very difficult to actually get coins in this game, especially if you're running in first. There's barely any coins on some maps, and people who are begging and want to intentionally lose time anyway, they can just wait for coins to respawn, but they are actually behind the mid-pack and people are getting hit left and right. They're gonna lose coins left and right, which you can just grab in the back. Also, coin items like the coin shell, the coin box are way more common in the back, and you benefit way more from them there. Other people use that, you get their coins too from their coin items and can really stack up your coin amount, which will really help you in the late game if you manage to break into the front. And generally, if people think about begging, they think about, oh, I gotta drop into last place. But in this game, you don't need to do that, especially in 24-player rooms. That's what I meant earlier. Begging is still in this game, but it's different. Like in this game, you get potentially way better items in the mid spots between 9th and 12th place than you get in lower spots. So a lot of the times you don't want to drop all the way behind, but find a finicky balance between staying close to the mid pack, being in the mid pack, staying closer to first place, but not falling behind too much. Like I said, you can pull everything that you need in terms of strong items in like 9th to 12th place, like triple shrooms, golden shrooms, megas and stars. But you can even pull triple shrooms up to 4th place. You can pull the boo from 3rd to 9th place, which is almost like a better star anyway. So you don't need to drop all the way below to back in this game. And it's just a different balance on where you want to be if you decide to slow down to get better items. But the big downside of this, it's dangerous. The mid pack, like I said before, it's dangerous. There's a lot of item spam there. You are around so many players. People, when they pull items, they pull them out automatically, potentially hitting you, screwing you over. So begging is a really thin line in this game. Sometimes in the mid-race, when you already decided you wanted to run and you're just getting hit once or twice and you find yourself in not the greatest position, no coins, it's very viable to just then decide to completely drop out and focus fully on begging. So mid-race begging, where you just completely change up your strategy, is still very viable. And of course, begging works better on certain maps with more shortcuts, and I'm gonna go over every map very quickly in a minute too, to just show you on which maps you probably want to beg a little bit more or a little bit less. And also, obviously the begging, the item distribution, like I said, is the key. It depends on the room size. That leads us to our next point. The differences between 24-player rooms and, for example, 12-player rooms. The competitive scene, as of now, has decided that they want to go with 12-player rooms if they are organizing their ranked events or tournaments. And since the size of the room determines the item distribution, you gotta keep in mind where you want to be and how you want to beg depending on the room size. Like I said before, in 24-player rooms it's more rewarding to just go for those mid-spots items between like 10th and 12th place. But in 12-player rooms it's more rewarding to beg for items really in the lower spots, in the bottom 4 spots. But there are some key differences between 12 and 24-player rooms. Most notably, in 12-player rooms the 9th place is like the worst item set you can get. For some reason in 9th place, the chance to get a coin box or a coin shell, which is kind of a useless item, is way higher than in any other spot. And in 8th place or 10th to 12th place, you just get way better items way more reliably. But to the contrary, in 24-player rooms, this 9th place would be just around 16th to 20th place. Another key difference between 24-player rooms and 12-player rooms, or just generally high player rooms and like lower player rooms, is that you can only pull the golden in like the bottom 4 spots in like a 12-player room, right? But in 24-player rooms you can pull the golden in 10th place. That's like a bottom 14 spot. There's still 14 players below you and you're getting a golden, right? And also the bullet bill, you only get that from like 10th to 12th place in 12-player rooms and just the bottom 6 spots in 24-player rooms. So really keep in mind the size of the room if you want to go for certain items or if you want to beg a certain way. Alright, to give you a quick overview how strong begging is on every map in the game, I created this little tier list here. In the first tier we got the big beggars, guys. On these maps sometimes like 80% of the lobbies, they just gonna drop to get the items that they need. And it all revolves around getting the right item at the right time. In the category below, items are key. There's still a lot of strong begging courses where you dropping out, getting stronger items really can make a huge difference. And a lot of the times the people with the better item pulls are going to end up in the front on these kind of courses. Like on something like Choco Mountains, lots of shortcuts that you can take, obviously. On something like Peach Beach, not so much, but it's mostly just straight lines in the last 2 laps. And just having the right items there and not getting hit by too many items, and you have shrooms to get accelerated faster or just a star to dodge certain items, really gets you ahead. Here in the third tiers we have mini beggars, where there's mostly just like one shortcut where you really want to have shrooms in, so that you can sometimes drop out just a little bit to just get those shrooms in order to succeed. Like on Great Question Block Ruins, there's a huge cut at the start, sometimes just dropping out at the start just a little bit to get a better item and then immediately shrooming up into first with this cut works quite well. Also Peach Stadium, kind of the same concept. And there's also tracks like Toad's Factory, which is just as slaughter sometimes, so many items being thrown around. So having an invincibility item right where it matters in those choke points is very, very effective. But most of these are already very great runners, so their first place oftentimes gets a very, very huge lead. So you have to be very careful with deciding when to drop out a little bit or when to go for a begging, or if you just want to run and stay in the front the whole game anyway. Now the fourth tier, don't fall behind too much on these maps. There are barely any shortcuts that you can pull, which can really get you back into the game. Obviously in Bowser's Castle there's a huge shortcut, but you can take this without shrooms. And generally those are tracks that have a lot of tech in there, so if someone knows what they are doing, they can really pull ahead, get a huge lead that even items can't catch up on. But those courses still have a few or one shortcut where you can get good use out of the items. And obviously a shock dodge is always something that can potentially get you really back into a game. And for the last tier, run for your life. You just need to run in the front, in first place on these courses. There are barely any shortcuts that you can take only with your items on this one, and if they are, they barely save any time or just don't matter as much as on Rainbow Road because it's such a long race. So running and establishing yourself very early on in the front is really the play here, and begging really is just not as effective and won't get you too far. Sometimes you can get very lucky, but most of the time it won't amount to much. Alright, let's get to the most important parts. Lots of tips and techniques for begging in Mario Kart World. One of the biggest tips I can give: always mind the distance to first, or generally speaking like the top spots, because sometimes first is just way further ahead, but if you're still close to second place, that's fine. It's just you don't want to fall behind too much. Everyone in front of you can potentially pull great items, even better items than you too, so it's really harder to catch up if you already lost too much distance. So you really don't want to overbag. So sometimes even dropping more is not really a reliable option, because even the items that you get won't make up the distance that you lose to begging. Also again, item dodges like invincibility items, they are very valuable and you really want to run them up. A very common thing that great players do is they're kind of looking to get triple shrooms and then get a dodge in their second item, which is especially like the greatest pull you can have at the start, and then they just try to run that up all the way to top spots, just to get through very dangerous parts of the maps, or to just predict the shock when it happens, because shock dodges are obviously still valuable, but it's kind of harder to get them in this game because invincibility items, they're just way less common, so you really sometimes want to hold onto them if you're not too far behind already. But again, for certain maps you also want to have those dodges like a star or a mega for certain choke points, like here on Toad's Factory. In this very crowded S-turn area, you're always getting screwed over there if you're in the mid-pack. So just having an invincibility item there is very, very strong, and holding onto it for this exact moment is a very viable strategy while begging. I mentioned earlier already, coins are very important. They can really give you the upper hand on your opponents. It's just harder to get in this game, but if you beg, you're in the best position to actually get a lot of coins. Because there's so little coins on the maps, you can break for every single coin, because it doesn't matter if you're losing time anyway, because that's what you want to do anyway. Other players in the mid-pack, they drop a lot of coins too, so if you're just staying behind that mid-pack, you can get a lot of coins that way. Other players around you gonna use coin shells and coin boxes, which you're gonna benefit greatly from too. And just pulling up with like 20 coins in the late game is an insane advantage, which a lot of other players in the lobby won't have at that point. The first item box is a very important one to play right too. Like the first set of item boxes, if someone already had an item box and that item box respawns and you get that one, it's almost always a shroom, most of the times triple shrooms even. And just generally from mid to lower spots in the first item box, even just behind first place, you can get triple shrooms and stars. So just breaking a little bit, especially on maps with very early huge shortcuts, is a very, very viable strategy that you can pull off, this kind of micro bagging at the start. And that can put you into a top spot already with 2 shrooms and a star in your pockets. Some positions to watch out for, I kind of mentioned it a bit in the 24 and 12 player room comparison already. In 12 player rooms, the 9th place is the worst item set you can go for. You often get coin shells and coin blocks there, so whenever you can, just completely avoid that one. In 24 player rooms, that would be like the 16th to 20th place, where you're just way more likely to pull a coin shell or coin block as your second item. And it's just less likely to pull these items in spots above you, but also below you. So if you find yourself in those spots, maybe break a little bit more to actually get those bottom 4 items, which could be a shock and a bill as well. Or if you have the opportunity, shroom up a little bit so you get an item in like a mid spot again. Some good positions for items that I found is, for one, actually 3rd place. Like in 3rd place, you get a lot of shrooms, especially if you take double item boxes. There's a high chance that you get a shroom in either one of those 2 boxes. You tend to get a lot of triple items for protection, and that's actually the highest spot where you can pull a boo. And a boo is almost like a better star, because it lasts just as long as a star. You can take off-road cuts with it. It's an invincibility item, but you also steal an item in front of you, sometimes another shroom. The 4th place is also a very strong position for the exact same reasons. The 3rd place is a strong place, but the 4th place is the first place that you can actually pull triple mushrooms in. And then again, you also pull a lot of single mushrooms. You can pull the boo, but also lots of triple items for protection, like triple green shells, triple red shells. Another good position is the 8th place, because that's kind of the earliest position where you can pull megas. So getting a triple shroom plus a mega mushroom from a double item is a pull that you can get here the earliest. And let me tell you, this is one of the best pulls that you can get in the game. For that reason, also 9th to 12th place are also very, very strong positions. Like I said before, you have a comparatively lower chance to get coin shells and coin boxes in those spots, but you get triple mushrooms almost each time. And for the second item, you have a high chance to pull a star, a mega, or even a golden mushroom. So yeah, from 10th place downwards, golden mushrooms are a pull that you can get there too. Just some quick tips on getting double item boxes reliably. Everyone knows the situation. You want to go for a double item, but just as you get to it, someone else drives through it and you don't get the item, and you are just in such a worse spot for it. Like the thing in this game, any type of boost, you can't slow that down. You can't hit the brake and actually slow down. So if you're drafting, if you're tricky and getting a mini turbo of that, if you're mushrooming or getting a mini turbo off a drift, you won't be able to brake and slow down. So sometimes it's better to avoid all of these boosts when you're near a double item box. So you can actually brake and just wait it out until the double item respawns, so you get the items and can continue, and you're just eliminating the chance that someone snatches it away and it's just gone. But also look out for players behind you. Use the rear mirror, because especially people with shrooms tend to just shroom past you at the item box to chain for the next item, and they can just come in at the wrong time, so watch out for that too. Just from playing the game, I have the feeling that single item boxes are potentially stronger than getting double item boxes, because I believe the game thinks, okay, you're getting a double item box anyway, so it doesn't matter if one of those 2 items is actually a worse one, right? If you're only getting 1 item, then the game thinks, okay, yeah, he needs a better item, so we should give it to him, right? So sometimes what good players do, they hold on to triple mushrooms and only take a single item box for a better second item, which is most of the time a dodge. But if you're especially going for a shock, this is a reliable strategy as well. Sometimes you want 2 items, but there are no double item boxes around, so something that you can do at an item set is just brake a little bit and slowly drive through the items sideway to actually pick up 2 items. That way you just lose a little bit of time, but potentially get such a good item to make up the time loss very easily. But if you take more than 2 items at an item spot, it will result in you getting first place items, like a green shell or something, so you got to avoid that. For 12 player rooms, keep in mind only in 11th or 12th place people can pull a shock, so that is important to know whether you want to go for a shock yourself or see if other people might have just pulled a shock. People often use the items right away afterwards, right? Like shrooms or a bill. If they are just going for an item in those bottom 2 spots and they're not using an item right away, chances are kinda high that they might have pulled a shock there. Also, while begging, the bullet bill can be a powerful ally of yours, but it's very situational. Like sometimes it's just not good. In 12 player rooms you only get in the bottom 3 spots, in 24 player rooms it's kind of like the bottom 5 to 6 spots, but the thing with the bill is you kind of only want to have it in like those lower spots anyway, because the lower your spot, the further it's gonna get you. If you use it in like 6th place, it's only gonna get you like 2 positions or something, while you're in 24th place it gets you like 12 positions. So you kind of don't want to have the bill too far up anyway. There are bill extensions, so the bill can still be a very, very strong and potent tool in higher spots, but then you really need to know in which spots you want to use the bill, so it doesn't just run out after 2 seconds and actually you get an extension for 10 seconds or so. Also keep in mind, shroom pulls are very common in this game, especially in double item boxes in lower positions. So people in the front are likely to have shrooms themselves, and if there's just like one big shortcut on a map, chances are that you can't really pull up as much because all the people in the front gonna take the same shortcut as you anyway. And you have to watch out a lot for triple reds. Triple reds don't really get pulled in second place as much in this game as in earlier games, especially in 12-player rooms. There's barely any triple reds in second place, but in third place, triple reds are very common. Generally in 24-player rooms, triple reds in third to sixth place is a very common item pull and it can really screw you over. Generally speaking, triple item pulls like triple green shells and triple bananas are also very common from 2nd to 8th place. So you have to keep that in mind when you want to shroom and pull up with those strong items that you got through begging. People around you, if they get item boxes, they can pull those triple items and they're gonna get pulled out automatically and can potentially screw you over a lot. So really keep that in mind when you're running up your very good items. So that's everything on begging for now. I hope you learned a thing or two in this video, and I can't wait to discuss with you guys in the comments below, and if I missed something, let me know there in the comments below. There's so much more educational content and Mario Kart World content on its way, so make sure to like, comment and subscribe for more. With that being said, thank you for watching, see you in the next video, Whatsum out.